Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be solving questions that have to do with logarithms. So we are going to solve every question that is possible. Let's begin. So let's say you have this problem. So remember the rules of logarithms. If you have the log of, let's say you have the log of x times y, this one is the same as having the log of, you can split this and say x. Since these are multiplying, you're going to say plus the log of y, like that. So now in this case, since we have two numbers, you're going to pick one log and write the log of, then these two you're going to multiply. It will be x minus 4. Then this other one, we are going to have our x minus 1, which should be equal to 1, like that. Now if you see any log where it's not showing anything, it means to say it's in base 10. So this 10 will go and become the base here. So we are going to have x minus 4, and our x minus 1 should be equal to 10 to the power of 1, like that. Then what we are going to have is we're going to multiply. So this is our, so this x multiplies everything. So it will be x open brackets x minus 1. This 4 multiplies everything. We are going to have our negative 4 multiplies all this. We are going to have x minus 1, like that, should be equal to 10. 10 to the power 1 is 10. So we multiply x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is minus x. Negative 4 times x, it will be minus 4x. Negative times negative is plus. We have 4 should be equal to our 10, like that. So we are going to simplify. We have our x squared minus negative x minus 4x is our 5x. Then we have plus our 4 should be equal to 10, like that. Taking this value here, we are going to have x squared minus our 5x plus 4 minus our 10 should be equal to 0, which will give us x squared minus our 5x minus 6 should be equal to 0. So when we reach this stage, what we are going to do is we are going to say, we are going to find our product. Our product should be equal to AC, which is A, our B, our C. So multiplying AC, we are going to have the coefficient of x is 1 times our negative 6 is equal to, we have our negative 6, like that. Then our sum will be equal to B, which would be equal to, in this case it's equal to negative 5. Factors, which are two numbers, when you multiply them, they are going to give you negative 6. When you add them, they are going to give you a negative 5. So these numbers are, if you have negative 6 and a positive 1, when you add them, they are going to give you this. When you multiply, they are going to give you that. So replacing where B is, we are going to have our x squared. Where there is B, which is our 5x, we are going to put these numbers 6, attach x, then we have plus our x, then we have our minus 6 should be equal to 0, like that. So with that said, we are going to have x is common here, so we are going to say x open brackets x minus our 6, then we have plus 1 open brackets, we have our x minus 6 should be equal to 0. So pick the brackets x like that, we have our x plus our 1, like that. Then what we are going to do is we are going to equate to 0. Then what we have is we have our x minus 6 is equal to 0, or our x plus 1 is equal to our 0, like that. So this is going to give us x is equal to 6, or our x is equal to negative 1, like that. So this is our values there. So the equation was the log of our x minus 4, then we have plus our log of, we have our x minus 1. Now you need to be careful. So that means to say acceptable answer in this case will just be equal to 6. Why 6? Because if you put 6 here, it will be 6 minus 4, which will be equal to 2. If you put 6 here, it will be 6 minus 1, which will be equal to we are going to have 5. You need to have a log of a positive number. As you know, the log of, let's say the log of 0, this one is undefined, or the log of a negative value such as -1, it is undefined. So that's why the result has to give you a positive. So that implies that even if we got another value such as x is equal to let's say 4, then it could not be correct, because if we put 4, it will be the log of our 4 minus 4, which will be the log of 0, which is undefined. So in this case, x should be equal to our 6. Let's move on. So let's say we have this problem. So what you're going to do is make this the common denominator. So we are going to have something like this. So the log of 3, the log of x base 3, then this will multiply everything there. So we are going to have log of this divided by this is this one times this. This will give us the log of 3, the log of x base 3. Then we have this times this, it will be squared. Then this divided by this is 1 times 4, it will just be minus our 4 like that. Then we have plus our log of x base 3 is this, then times 3, it will be 3 log of x base 3. Then this should be equal to 0 like that. So upon doing this, what we are going to have is, let's cross multiply from here. So if we cross multiply, what we are going to get is 1 times all this, it will be the log of x base 3. We have squared there. Then we have minus 4 plus our 3 log of our 3 base x, or x base 3, should be equal to this times this, it is going to give us a 0 like that. From here, what we are going to do is we are going to let, so here now you let your log of x base 3 to be equal to any data such as y, so that when you solve for y, you can now equate it back. So we are going to have our y to the power of where there is this, we are going to put y to the power of, we have the 2 outside, minus 4, plus we have our 3. Then the log of 3 of x base 3, it will be 3y should be equal to 0 like that. So we have our y squared plus our 3y minus 4 should be equal to 0. So in this case, what we are going to do now is find our products. So our product, knowing that our product is equal to AC, so our A is 1, so we have 1 times our C is -4, which will give us -4 like that. Then we have our sum should be equal to B, which should be equal to, we have our +3. Then our factors is equal to, we have 2 numbers, which when we add them, we are going to get a +3. When we multiply them, they are going to give us a -4. So these numbers are +4 and +4 and our -1. So if you add these, they are going to give you 3. If you multiply them, -4. So we are going to replace now. So we have our y squared like that. Then we have plus our 4y minus our y minus 4, which should be equal to 0. So we are going to have y is common there. Then what will be remaining here will be our y plus our 4 like that. Then we have -1. Then we have y plus our 4 like that, should be equal to 0. So we have y minus 1. We also have our y plus our 4 should be equal to 0 like that. So we are going now to say y minus 1 is equal to 0, or our y plus 4 should be equal to 0, to give us y should be equal to 1, or we have our y should be equal to -4 like that. Now remember, we know that, but according to what we made, we said that the log of 3 of x base 3 is equal to y like that. So now that means to say, to find the value of x, we are going to say when our y is equal to 1, we are going to have log of 3 of x base 3 should be equal to, where there is y, we are going to put 1. We get this 3, it goes there, that's how it works. So this becomes the base, so we are going to have x is equal to 3 to the power of 1, like that. So that means to say our x value is equal to 3, or we are going to have, we know that the log of our x base 3 is equal to y. So now when our y is equal to this other value, which is our negative 4, we are going to have our x value will be equal to, we have the log of x base 3 should be equal to negative 4. So this 3 goes there. We are going to have x is equal to 3 to the power negative 4. Our x is equal to, so when we remove this, it will be 1 over 3 to the power of 4, which will give us x is equal to 1 over 3 to the power 2, which is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So we have 1 over 81 as our answer. So x is equal to 3, or x is equal to 1 over 81. So if we have this one, we are going to solve it like this. So this is the same as having, we have, so this x, square root of x is the same as we have the log of x. Then where there is the root, we have 1 over 2 should be equal to, we have the log of our x. Then we have the root is the same as 1 over our 2, like that. Then according to logs, this number, if there is an exponent on the variable there, it will go here. So it will be half of the log of x, like that. So now, be careful. This does not mean that half will go here. No, unless if it's connected to the exponent. So we are going to say this is equal to, we have the log of our x, then we have power half, like that. From here, what we are going to do is we are going to let, log x there. So you are going to let your log of the log of x be equal to y, which will give us half of the log of, where there is x, or where there is the log of x, you're going to put y should be equal to, where there is the log of x, you're going to put y. Here it is power half. So we are going to say, after doing that, we are going to eliminate this half by introducing power 2, which will give us, now be careful, this power 2 affects even the half. So this is the same as half to the power of 2 times the y to the power of 2 should be equal to, we have this and this goes, we are going to have y, like that. So half squared is 1 over 4 times y to the power 2 should be equal to y, like that. From here, we are going to have 1 over 4 times y squared, it will be y squared over 4 should be equal to y. Then from here, we are going to multiply. So when we multiply, we are going to get y squared should be equal to, we have a 4y, because y squared times 1 is y squared, 4 times y is 4y, like that. Getting this the other side, it will be y squared minus 4y should be equal to 0. Factorize, so we have y, open brackets, y minus 4 should be equal to 0. So it's either y is equal to 0 or y minus 4 is equal to 0. This gives us y is equal to, when this goes this side, it will be equal to 4, like that. Y is equal to 0. But remember, we said that this y, we let it was such that the log of our x was equal to y. This gives us a value of, where there is y, we are going to put 0. So we have the log of x should be equal to 0, like that. Then the log of, it will be, if it isn't showing, it means to say it's 10. So this 10 goes that side, it will be x is equal to, so it will be the base 10 to the power 0. 10 to the power 0, so x is equal to 1 like that. Then for this other one, we are going to have the log of x should be equal to, we have the other y is 4, so we are going to put 4 there. So this is our 10, so we are going to put, it will be x is equal to 10 to the power 4. So since it's 10 to the power 4, it means to say we are going to have 4 zeros, so x is equal to 10,000 like that. So this is the answer to that problem. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you would like, subscribe and share for more. See you in the next tutorial where we are going to solve questions that deal with changing of bases.